Hi people, how you all doing? So before I take this car out and run it, I'm going to show you a few things that I've done to it to hopefully help with the stability of the car and hopefully just generally make it better. And the car is this MST what I've been working on. I've been doing quite a lot of things to it, like I've been setting up the suspension, setting up the camber angle, the toe angle. Obviously to change the rear one I've got to change these bits on the back, but I haven't done that not yet because I haven't ordered the parts. But the main things I've done to this is the suspension, obviously setting up all the camber and stuff. So I'm just going to give you a quick description of what I've actually done. It's pretty much what I've done from my other video, but in this one is mainly the suspension setup that I've worked on. So with the camber and stuff on the front is all controlled by basically this part here. There's a screw on the end, so you just unscrew it to bring it out or do it up to bring it in, which will then create negative or positive camber on the front. With the toe, obviously it's just controlled by the steering links. Pretty much the same with the back, is just these rods here that control the angle of the wheels. Basically what I done to set all this up, I just took one side, I got this side how I needed it, then I get my digital calipers, measure it, and then copy it on the other side. I done that to all the links, so I know that they're all the way around. When I had it originally, obviously like I said, the suspension was in the wrong places. I put it to what it says on the box, and the thing I was getting was when you lift, one wheel would still be touching the floor. So like the chassis would get to here, this wheel would still be touching, this wouldn't. Same on the rear, like one would still be touching, the other one wouldn't. The way how I fixed all that is to take the shocks off. I moved the bumper out. See these parts here? Make sure you do them all the way up on all of them, so there's no thread showing, so they're all done up to the same length. That way, when you lift the car, the suspension will be the same all the way around, because all your rods will be the same length. It won't be all distorted. So yeah, that's how I took care of that. I just took them off, do all of these up so they're done up, like obviously not too tight, just make sure they're done up so they're nice and snug. Then with the actual suspension itself, to set the ride height and stuff, I just took the suspension to where I needed it on the front and the rear. I got one of the plastic clips what you use for a preload spacer. I put one in, do this up so it touches it, then take the preload clip out, do the same on that side, and then I did the same on the rear. Just use a different space preload clip, put it in, do it up so it touches, do the same on this side. And that, as you can see, look, both wheels when it lifts off the ground, come off the ground. One's not staying on the ground. They're both coming up at the same time. Same on the front. See, they both come up at the same time. It's really crucial to a setup. Like you need your suspension set up for me, like for drifting. You want it set up so the car's really balanced. Otherwise you'll find that it just handles like poo. So yeah, I thought I'd do this video in here because it would be too hard to show you outside. The other thing I have also set up is what they call the suspension sag. So if I press the suspension, you see how it's got that little bit before the wheels come up. So if I'm compressed, not fully compressed, but like if I just drop it, now lift, you see how it lifts a little bit before the wheels come up. That's suspension sag. I've got about 5mm sag on the front and probably about 4 on the rear. So it's compressed. The rear shocks are stiff as well, by the way. So yeah, you just want a bit of sag. And yeah, that's hopefully this setup should work nice now. The suspension's nice and soft and free. That's how you want the front, because you want the suspension so you get the grip on the front end. And on the rear you want it more stiffer so the back can stay planted and slide out. Like I said, the only thing I need to do now on the rear is get rid of this toe in on the back. And yeah, like I said, I just got to change them arm bracket things to change it. But yeah, other than that, it should work a lot better now. And we're going to find out, because I'm going to take it out. Also guys, another thing that I did find, what I forgot to mention, which is another massive part, if I stay out of the light, when the suspension was compressing on the front and lifting, it was changing the geometry of these front wheels. So if it compressed, the front wheels would toe this way under compression. Then if it lifted, the wheels would go more this way. So if it lifted, it would go more in. If it dips, it would go more out. But now it doesn't really change too much. So now if it lifts or goes down, it doesn't change all the steering geometry. I might need to do this one turn out, because as you can see, it is a little bit, but not a lot. On the other side, it doesn't do it. See, it's not even changing position, whereas this one slightly is. So if I undo it one turn, it should sort it, hopefully. But yeah, well, let's take it out and give it a rip.